Hi guys, and welcome to Dee's Media World. Today we're doing another episode of my Inuyasha review series, episode 31, Jinenji, Kind Yet Sad. So by the title alone, you can tell that this is like a filler episode to some degree, but at the same time it's not, because the last episode we saw Sango and particularly Kilala get poisoned from Naraku, so of course they kind of have to go get some poison for them. It doesn't necessarily have to be a whole episode dedicated to this, but it is sort of nice to, I guess, to see Kagome and Yasha together. They comment on it, or Kagome comments on it when she's like, it's kind of weird how she says it, but she's kind of like, it's nice spending some time together. And then she goes on like kind of a roll call of like their friends they just made, as if she forgot about them, or she has to remind herself why she likes these people or why she has them tagging along or whatever. And but anyway, besides that, this episode is it's a cute episode. It's really about like prejudice. In this case, half demons. And I said that I think a while ago that Inuyasha is the show itself deals with prejudice, especially for half demons. Pretty much, mostly. I'm trying to think if there's been. I mean, there's like the hierarchy. Demons half demons don't even really fit in the middle, and then humans. Those are really the two enemies. Half demons kind of have to find their own place in the world, because apparently there aren't that many of them in the show. Like, you don't see a lot of them. Like, there's gonna be a couple more that kind of pop up in the show, but like they really are on their own, because there's not like a big community of them, because it's such a taboo for a demon and a human to be together. But I've noticed in the show, at least so far, humans and demons don't stay together long before. Usually the demon's the one to die. Like with Inuyasha's parents, both of them are dead, but it's assumed that his father died before his mother did, and she died of some natural causes, I'm assuming. She lived a couple years longer to see Inuyasha grow up a little bit. So, and this seems no different. We're not really sure. We learned a little bit about Jinenji. He lives with his mom, and the villagers hate him because they think he is the one who's like killing who's killing the women, or what do they call, like bloodsuckers or something, killing the women. But I'm sitting here thinking, but he's not that kind of person. And yes, you hate him because he's half demon. But if you're throwing rocks at him and he's running to his mom scared, and this is like the common norm, obviously, because he doesn't know how to defend. He doesn't defend himself. Then why would you think he would be killing the women just because he's the only thing that could? Like, that's kind of stupid. That's really stupid. And this goes back to my problems with humans and half demons. If you have a half demon living in your village and they're that gigantic and they have clearly more strength than you, because half demons are more powerful than humans, pretty much guaranteed, obviously. Why would you make enemies with them? Like, yeah, they're different. Yeah, their blood is diluted or whatever. But wouldn't you want them protecting your village especially in these times where you could truly benefit from having someone protect your village? Like, his mother lives there, so he's gonna protect his mother. If you become friends with him, he'll protect you too. So it makes no sense at all. Like this is what they were trying. I guess the show is trying to say. Like, this prejudice is so blinding that it totally like erases all common sense, basically. Because obviously I would have been like cool with Jinenji or like, what's funny is that these villagers are like angry at him and they hate him, and I'm thinking nobody's scared of him though. Like, people either hate him or like they think he's done something, but there's basically one emotion, is that everybody hates Jinenji because he's half demon and he's big and large, but for some reason they think it's okay to pick on him and he won't do anything. But it's kind of funny, his mother protects him, but she has no real powers. So it's kind of this interesting dynamic, because like at the end when we see this episode really is about Jinenji, not really Inuyasha Kagome. They're kind of like enablers, like they sort of get the plot moving a little bit, but it's really about Jinenji trying to come into his own after so long, like however old he is. I'm assuming really old. Too old, not old, but like too old. Like, his mother's clearly in her 80s or 70s, whatever. And he's an adult. He's an adult half demon, however long that takes. And he doesn't know how to defend himself from humans, from anything. He doesn't, even though he's strong and being strong, he doesn't use any of that strength to protect himself or his mom. And in this episode, he finally kind of comes in his own. It's like, you know what, I have to do this. He fights off the eating demon thing that Inuyasha probably could have easily killed, but that wasn't the point. And he squashes the thing to death, basically. It was actually kind of brutal, the way he kills that monster. And he sees, one thing that bugged me, though, is that when Kagome's in danger, that's when Jinenji kind of jumps to fight. He just met Kagome today, and I know the characters in this show kind of have this affection for Kagome, a lot of affection for Kagome. Like, characters either kind of love her or hate her, but most of them love her, and they're willing to protect her, willing to do what all for her. But he jumps to go protect Kagome, but he doesn't do it for his mother. Like, his mother gets hit with something, I think a rock or some sticks or something, and he's still scared. He's still scared to do something. But the moment Kagome's in danger, he's like, let me get going. That bugged me, because if your mom is in danger, you should be like quick to go, let me protect her. I mean, it kind of makes sense in the context because his mom's always been protecting him. But it's kind of like, really, but you just met Kagome today. You've known your mother your whole life. Why didn't you jump to protect her? She's the one who cares about you. Kagome kind of cares about you too, but it's just not, that bothered me. Anyway, this episode is good. It is, some people I think have this as one of their favorite episodes from the show. I've seen people say that. I think it's okay. When it was time for me to watch this episode, I wasn't super excited about it. I was like, okay, let me get through this so I can get back to what matters in the show. But when rewatching again, I actually enjoyed it. I was like, oh, okay, I do like this episode. I do like Jinenji. He actually does come back a while from now, like a solid 50 episodes later from now, maybe. It's a while till we see him again, but we actually do see him again later on. And that's surprising, because I guess maybe the fans, when the show came out, loved him so much. They're like, hey, let's bring him back for a cameo or something like that. Let's see, what did my notes say after I kind of summed up the episode? It's funny how the show, I like how the show deals with prejudice. The relationship his mother had with his father, I was actually fascinated by that aspect. Like, not just, she fell down, he came out of nowhere and helped her, but like, what happened after that? Like, did they get married? They obviously had a child together. For some reason, doesn't look anything like the dad, but okay. Got married. What happened like after that? Did he get her knocked up and leave? Because she has fond memories of him, and it's pretty clear that he died. So I'm curious, did he die because his family found out about it? He was protecting him and died? What was going on? Because she seems to be able to take care of herself pretty well now, throwing rocks and stuff. Her and Jinenji never seemed to have a lot of threats. Because, obviously she's like in her 60s or whatever's considered old in this feudal age, like 60s, I guess. So I'm sort of like, well, what happened to him? I'm really curious what happened to his dad. And I noticed for the first time, I've seen this episode a couple of times, there's a point where, I don't remember what Kagome had said, but he says something like, I think to Inuyasha, he can't leave this farm because his dad gave it to him. And I never noticed that line before. And I said, I'm just really curious, like, what happened to his father? I guess we will never know. But, I mean, some people are probably wondering what happened to Inuyasha's dad at this point, or even Kagome's father. Fathers are missing from this show. I mean, some of them you do know what happens to them. Sango's, we saw hers get killed. We never know what happened. I'm going to assume her mom died of childbirth or something. Moroka's mom, never heard of. We know Shippo's dad died from the Thunder Brothers. I guess it's assumed his mother died maybe similar way. I don't know. But, mothers and fathers are both sort of missing from this show. There are very few characters you will see who have both of their parents alive. And if they do, they usually die soon. I'm trying to think, is there a character on the show that I've seen that had both parents alive, like at the same time when we came on to them? And as of now, I can't think of anybody. Usually one or both of them are dead. There's a lot of orphans in the show. There's a lot of raised by single parents in the show. It's not like addressed a lot, but it is something I've noticed. watching Inuyasha. But it makes sense in the time period. It's hard to survive these times. So, yeah, you see characters die, like characters of characters die, not really main characters, but so and so's mom died, whatever. Like, there was a death in this episode of a young woman just running from that monster, and she died. And I was like, gosh, that sucks. We don't know anything about her, don't know her name, anything, but I actually felt bad for that character who wasn't really got to be a chance to be a character. There is a part where Kagome is like afraid of a worm, and I rolled my eyes only because there's this interesting dynamic of fear. Like, there are some people, and it's true in real life, they will not be afraid of this, like maybe what we consider extreme, and but they're afraid of something that is no big deal. Like, Kagome is afraid of a worm, or freaked out by one, but she's not afraid to shoot an arrow in Naraku like the episode before. She's not afraid to talk smack to someone she clearly can't fight either. Like, Kagome almost has shown in the show much fearlessness. Like, Thunder Brothers episode, all the stuff everything she did in that episode was without any kind of fear. She just did things. But she's afraid of a worm? Okay. That just kind of... it is interesting how fear it works, I guess, is what I'm saying. It's like some people are afraid of extreme things, which is the norm, and then some people are afraid of small things. Like, I had a conversation with a friend just the other day. Like, they were telling me they literally at the last minute left the U.S. to go to Colombia for a week for spring break. Literally had no plans to do so. Just spur of the moment, had a great time. Wasn't afraid of going, and then telling me like the other day, I'm kind of afraid to do a YouTube channel, because I was like, why don't you do a YouTube channel? So he's like, I'm kind of afraid. I admire you for doing your YouTube channel, but I'm afraid to do mine. That's not interesting in how fear works. Like, I don't find doing my channel as something scary or intimidating, but I would be intimidated to just buy a ticket to anywhere and just go with no previous planning whatsoever. So it's funny. I do like how that show kind of shows up. Maybe I'm looking too much into it. Maybe Kagome it was supposed to be comic relief or something like that. But it isn't. I do like how fear is kind of messed with in this show. Even in Yasha's fear, we very rarely see him get afraid. But if he was afraid of something, it will probably be something kind of trivial, because we've seen him just jump into stuff. Like, he jumps up to go find this monster that could have killed, like, that's killing the villagers, without really any fear or concern. But he is worried when Kagome's in danger, that kind of thing. So overall, I like this episode. It's a cute ending too. If you're a huge Inuyasha Kagome fan, you probably loved it. Where they're talking about like something. She asked him, did he go through this? And he's like, he explains that there's no place in this world for people like me who are half demon, and how you had to create your own place, and he was alone basically, and she said something like, they kind of had discussed something along the lines like, it's okay not to be alone. And then Iyasha's like, what, with Kagome, well, he's thinking this obviously, with Kagome near, it's become natural to him to have her nearby. And I'm going to assume it's been about 2 or so months, because we haven't seen Inuyasha become human yet. Again, that should be coming up, I think. Maybe not. But, they haven't been together that long, but it feels like it anyway to us. It's episode 31. And, it feels natural to him. And I like that. I think that was cute and sincere in obviously it was his thoughts. But, Inuyasha's a loner at heart, so he's not used to having friends and having people care about him, particularly Kagome. And, you'll see their relationship delve and evolve. Well, I didn't think I was going to have that much to say about this episode, because maybe it does leave a bigger impact on me than I thought, after some analysis of like a prejudice and about, fear and things like that. But yeah, I like this episode. It does have a cute ending too, with the villagers, where, Jinenji saves them, and the villagers think he's going to massacre them, which I kind of get that feeling like, yeah, I would be afraid too. But he's like, here, I'll help you with the herbs. And he does the most, like, passive thing in the world. Create herbs to heal people, basically. He's like, here you go, this will fix this. And then his mom's like, well, that's how it is. I'm like, He's not gonna kill them. He killed a monster because it was hurting Kagome, but he's not gonna kill these villagers who've been picking on them his whole life. You know, kill them with kindness. I do like that message. Obviously, Inuyasha wouldn't probably get something like that, but I do like that. But overall, I'm surprised I had so much to say about this episode. For especially considering it's a filler episode, sorta. But next time, it's gonna get more into the action of the show. I believe Kikyo is in the next episode. Haven't seen her in a little while. Haven't seen her since I think Sango has entered. I don't remember. I think it was like Kikyo's kiss or something was the last time we seen her. It's been about maybe 10 episodes. Yeah, it's been 10 episodes. A little bit more, like 8 or 9 episodes. So I'll see you guys later. Bye.